On the morning of her 10th birthday, Fina received a doll unlike any other. Its eyes too knowing, its smile too patient. By nightfall, the house that once echoed with laughter became a prison of whispers, shadows that moved on their own, and a child who began speaking in voices that were not her own. Fina turned 10 on a humid Saturday in early August, the kind of day when the air felt heavy and the ceiling fan groaned like it was tired of spinning. Their flat sat at the edge of a growing estate on the outskirts of Ibadan. Her mother, Morenike, cooked jollof rice from early morning. The smell of tomatoes and pepper filled the house. Fina's father, Kunle, had left before dawn for work, promising to return early with cake and drinks. They weren't wealthy, but were doing okay, and birthdays were sacred in Morenike's home, especially for Fina. By noon, relatives began to arrive. Aunties with loud laughter, cousins who pretended they weren't bored. A neighbor's radio played old gospel songs from across the fence. Then Auntie Sola arrived. No one had seen her in years. She stood at the doorway with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes, dressed too neatly for the heat, long sleeves, headscarf tied tight, a gift bag clutched in her hands like something fragile. "Sola?" Morenike said, surprise flickering across her face. "Ah, when did you come back?" "Recently," Auntie Sola replied. Her voice was calm, almost flat. "I heard it's Fina's birthday." She knelt in front of Fina and brought out the gift. The doll was beautiful. Too beautiful. It was dressed in a pale yellow lace gown, its skin a smooth brown like polished wood. Its hair was thick, black, and neatly braided. The eyes were glassy, dark, reflective, almost wet. Fina loved it instantly. "Her name is Nene," Auntie Sola said softly, pressing the doll into Fina's arms. "Take care of her. She likes being close." Morenike felt a strange tightening in her chest. "Where did you get this?" she asked lightly. Auntie Sola smiled. "It was given to me, long ago." Fina hugged the doll tighter. That night, she slept with it for the first time. Fina woke up crying. Not screaming, not from a nightmare. Crying the way someone cries when they are confused. Morenike rushed into the room. The moonlight from the window cut across the floor. Fina sat upright on the bed, tears rolling silently down her cheeks. "What is it, my love?" Morenike whispered. "She was talking," Fina said. Morenike froze. "Who?" "Nene." She followed Fina's gaze. The doll lay beside her, its glassy eyes catching the moonlight. "Talking how?" Morenike asked, forcing a smile. "She was asking me questions." "What kind of questions?" Fina sniffed. "She asked why Daddy doesn't come home early and why Grandma died alone." Morenike's breath caught. Those were not things Fina talked about, especially not at night. "It was just a dream," Morenike said quickly. "You must have been half asleep." Fina nodded, though she didn't look convinced. Morenike tucked her in, turned the doll face down on the chair, and left the room with unease settling in her stomach like cold water. At exactly 3:17 a.m., she woke again. The sound came from the hallway, soft, rhythmic. She sat up, heart pounding. "Fina!" Morenike called. No answer. She stepped into the corridor. Fina's bedroom door was open. The bed was empty, and the doll was no longer on the chair. They found Fina in the living room, sitting on the rug, the doll balanced on her knees. "What are you doing here?" Kunle asked sharply, having been woken by Morenike's frantic shouting. Fina looked up calmly. "She said she wanted to see the house." Kunle frowned. "Who said?" Fina hugged the doll. "Nene." Kunle laughed nervously. Children and imagination. But Morenike noticed something else. The doll's head was tilted slightly, as though it had been listening. From that night, small things began to happen. Morenike would leave the kitchen and return to find cupboard doors open. Kunle misplaced his keys constantly, only to find them under Fina's pillow. Fina began speaking in her sleep, in a low, steady voice that did not sound like a child's. Sometimes she spoke names Morenike didn't recognize. Sometimes she spoke in proverbs. One morning, Morenike asked, "Who taught you that saying?" Fina shrugged. "Nene said old words are heavier, they don't blow away." Kunle suggested taking the doll away. The first night they tried, Fina fell ill. High fever, cold sweats, trembling hands. "She's crying," Fina whispered weakly, clutching at the air. "She says she's alone." Against better judgment, Morenike returned the doll. The fever broke within an hour. From then on, Nene slept beside Fina every night. Morenike finally asked about Auntie Sola. Her mother grew quiet. "We have not heard from her in years." "What do you mean?" Morenike pressed. Her mother sighed. "Sola couldn't have children. They said she went to places she should not have gone. She came back different, and after then, she disappeared." Her mother ended the call abruptly. Morenike tried calling back, but the call kept dropping. That night, Morenike dreamed of a woman kneeling by a river, carving a child's face into wood while whispering names into its mouth. She woke with the taste of blood on her tongue. Fina stopped playing with other children. She preferred sitting quietly, whispering to Nene. The house grew colder. Kunle started having nightmares, dreams where he stood in the living room watching himself sleep on the couch while something small and dark crawled across his chest. Doors locked themselves, mirrors cracked. Once, Morenike heard giggling from the bathroom. She opened the door to find the doll sitting on the sink, standing upright. No one could explain how it got there. Fina began calling Nene her sister. "She says she lived before," Fina said one evening, "but she was taken." "Taken by who?" Morenike asked, barely breathing. Fina smiled. "By blood." That night, Kunle tried to throw the doll away. He drove it to a refuse dump at the edge of the estate. By morning, it was back, seated neatly at the foot of Fina's bed, its dress spotless. A local herbalist in their area finally agreed to see the doll. She refused to touch it. "This thing is not a toy," she said. "It is a vessel." "For what?" Morenike whispered. "For a child that was promised but never allowed to live." Morenike remembered Auntie Sola's eyes. The woman continued, "It feeds on attention, on secrets, on names. Once it learns enough, it will choose a body." Morenike staggered back. "No," she whispered. "That's my child." The herbalist shook her head. "Not anymore." The screams from Morenike's compound woke the neighbors. By the time Morenike reached the bedroom, the window was open, curtains flapping wildly. The bed was empty. Fina was nowhere to be found. Only the doll remained, sitting upright, smiling. Its glassy eyes were warm to the touch. They searched the whole neighborhood, but Fina was never found. They tried to call Auntie Sola, but could not reach her, and no one knows where she lives. They never heard from her. In the days that followed, Morenike tried to throw the doll away more than once. Each time, it returned. Sometimes she found it sitting on the chair by the window, sometimes on the kitchen table. Once, on Fina's bed, tucked neatly beneath the blanket, as though waiting. The house no longer rejected it. It belonged there now. Eventually, Morenike stopped touching it. She stopped looking at it directly. She learned that when she acknowledged it, the house became restless. Doors creaked. The air grew heavy. When she ignored it, the house remained still. Weeks passed, then months. The doll began to change. Its dress faded first, the yellow lace turning to a dull color. The braids loosened on their own, strand by strand, as though small fingers were constantly working at them. The glassy eyes lost their shine. One night, Morenike woke to a soft sound from the living room. Breathing, slow, shallow, human. She was scared but did not go to investigate. By morning, the doll was gone. Fina was never seen again, but sometimes, in the quiet of the house, two sets of footsteps echo softly across the floors.